Mrs May's deal for the UK's future relationship with the EU comes with an eye-watering £39 billion divorce bill. It also means the UK will continue to pay £800 million a month to EU institutions until 2022. Details of the Brexit roadmap have enraged senior members of the European Research Group, ERG. Incensed by the bombshell revelations, former Tory leader Iain Duncan Smith said, "The last thing we want is for Britain to be tied beyond 2020. This is a sellout." Mrs May announced the rough terms of her deal in a 26-page political declaration. "The British people want us to get out." Within the document, she conceded the transition period after the UK formally quits the bloc next March could extend until December 2022. The agreement also means the UK will remain tied to the notorious CCJ, which will still have the final say on disputed EU laws. Former Brexit Secretary David Davis said, "This is £39 billion for a pig in a poke. The EU's got nailed down everything it wants whilst leaving us on a half-promise of what we want." Meanwhile, the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, dubbed the accord 26 pages of waffle. He said, "The only certainty contained within these pages is that the transition period will have to be extended or we will end up with backstop and no exit. It represents the worst of all worlds, no say over the rules that will continue to apply and no certainty to the future." He blasted Mrs May for producing a blindfold Brexit from a government that spent more time negotiating with itself than for the nation. And ERG member Boris Johnson said the terms of the Brexit deal made a complete nonsense of Brexit. However, the Prime Minister insisted her deal was the right way forward, explaining the controversial Irish backstop would only come into effect if a new trade deal was not in place by January 2021. She argued, "Brexit is within our grasp," adding, "The British people want Brexit to be settled. They want a good deal that sets us on course for a brighter future. And they want us to come together as a country and to move on to focus on the big issues at home, like her NHS." Last night Chief Whip Julian Smith emailed Tory MPs urging them to unite and back the Prime Minister. He told backbenchers, "If we reject this deal we go back to square one. This would mean damaging uncertainty which will threaten jobs, investment and the economy."